What is up, Quad Cortex people? This is Steve Sterlacci, and I wanted to come out and show you guys and talk about the new Core OS 2.3 update for the Quad Cortex. Yes, we are updated, but no, we are not all the way there yet. We have some cool updates. One that I could finally stop complaining again. So these last two updates have contained things that I've complained about since day one. The last one being the desktop editor, which they finally implemented as a beta a few months ago, but now is officially released as a stable, proper release. And the other we are going to talk about in a few minutes. If it's your first time here on the channel, I have a ton of Quad Cortex tips as well as content on all the other modelers. So if that's your thing, consider subscribing. But let's now go through the changelog here. Things that are added. We've got a MIDI clock out, so now we can finally send MIDI clock. We have pin devices where you can now pin. It's like a favorites, I guess, but you can pin it so when you pull it up, it's going to be at the top of the effects list. We're going to cover all this later. Stomp mode bypass assignment. I could cry. I could cry. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This was the dumbest thing I've ever seen implemented into a unit, and finally, after almost 2 years, it's finally gone, or it's at least optional. If you keep this on, just stop. Come on. Global setting for whether the foot switches are automatically assigned or not. The auto assign was always the dumbest thing. I'm so happy that's gone. Swap tempo and tuner access. So there's a lot of people that don't use tap tempo, that only use the tuner or whatever this is. It enables to access the tempo settings by holding the bottom right foot switch and access the tuner by double tapping. You also have a reset menu when the device options to organize the different reset features. And we have a bunch of different reset setting options. Cool. We've got updated devices. The 9-band graphic EQ has a complete overhaul. Just some different parameter stuff, changes to the keyboard, improvements to the numeric keyboard. Select multiple filters. You can now select multiple filters. That's cool. We have a bunch of fixed things. So these are just known issues for a while that are now fixed. You can scroll through these and see if anything you've been complaining about is in there. I don't really typically run into any bugs with mine. Mine's pretty stable. Now, Cortex control additions, more cool stuff here. Same things, but we also have this. Did I skip this before? There's a made by me filter. Was that not up here? Did I just scroll right by that? Yeah, made by me filter. This is huge. It always bugged me that the my captures is everything that you made, but also everything you downloaded. So it was always really hard to find ones that I made. So I know a lot of users don't make their own captures, and a lot of users will either buy ones or download ones off of the cloud, and they're perfectly happy with that. That's cool with me. But for me, I like to make captures. I enjoy the process. I've got all sorts of load boxes, and I've got some pretty rare and cool tube amps. So I like to make captures. Having that made by me filter is something also that I've really been looking forward to having. This is a really good quality of life update for me personally. A couple of things here that I've really been interested in and things that I want to show you how to use. Some exciting stuff. But as far as features added, or as far as anything added, there's nothing added. This is just some workflow things and some Cortex things, some Cortex control things. So no real additions, but we do have an update from a couple days ago that talks about plugin compatibility. So despite a couple of things that make me personally very happy, I know many users are upset with the lack of plugin capability, and that looks like it's coming. So we have here, as we enter the new year, we want to provide an update. So PCOM is plugin compatibility. X is updating plugins and Cortex Control. So we know Cortex Control is done. Those were released today. This came out January 2nd, but today's the 3rd. So they're a day late on that. And as we enter the new year, yeah, we just read that. So they're finished. So plugins, things in the plugins, I don't know why that is relevant to us right now because we can't do that anyway. Next free update we release. So X, updating our plugins where we add global features like transpose and the doubler. It's also progressing well. Many plugins are in different stages of completion depending on their age and complexity. Archetype Gojira X will be the next free update we release. It is already in beta testing. We're aiming to launch it on January 10th. I don't understand what that has to do with Quad Cortex though, right? This is Quad Cortex development, not, are we getting access to that? I don't, unless I missed something, I don't really know what this means. If you know what this means, please let me know in the comments. And we're working our hardest to release plugin compatibility in Q2 of this year. We're doing our best to keep you updated on the process. And yeah, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I guess I don't know. I don't know what the X update, I don't know what this has to do with the Quad Cortex, or they're just telling us maybe that this is their next priority and they're going to be working on that. So we're not going to, maybe, I don't know. Does that mean that they're working on that instead of the Quad Cortex update, the plugin compatibility? I'm not really sure. Let me know what you think of that. All right, so let's go to Cortex Control. Let's start doing some of this. So what stuff were we just looking at here? So we now can go to, I'm doing this first because this is it for me, man. That is the one. Stomp mode bypass assignment. Global setting for whether foot switches are automatically assigned, automatically disabled. It updated as disabled. So now when I add something, I can't wait to do it. You don't have any idea how excited I am to do this. I don't even care what I'm adding. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add that pedal, and then I'm going to go to gig view, and I'm going to have nothing there. How satisfying is that? And then I can just assign, I'm going to assign it to E because it would have auto-assigned it to A. You have no idea how much joy that brings my heart. Anyway, on that subject, let's talk about pinning. So now you can pin things. So say this Vimeral Ray is your #1 overdrive pedal. You can now scroll down to it, go to these 3 dots, pin model to top. So that now, whenever you go to add an overdrive pedal, it's pinned right to the top. And let's take a look at how that looks on the unit. So I hit plus, overdrive. There it is right there on top. That's really, really useful. I missed. I'm trying to talk into the mic and reach over, so forgive me for missing. Overdrive, and that's pinned now, so that's right there. Does it save the settings in the pinned? I guess if you can save the user default, right? You can now, you could set the parameters as the default, and now that also becomes a favorite. So if you do save that and save the parameters as default, now that basically is going to pull up your go-to settings every time you do this. So I highly recommend you do the save your parameters as the default setting, because that's going to really come in handy. So huge workflow saver. I don't see any limit on how many you can pin. So let's say these are the 3 overdrives I use most. Then what? They're all 3. Awesome. Neural, very nice. Awesome. That's such a good feature. I'm on board with that one fully. That is really, 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 really nice. Now let's look at this other thing, because this is something that's had to be a little negative, at least somewhere here, or a little overly critical. So my captures is here, and when I go to the filter, I don't see the made by me as stated in the changelog. So I don't get why it would be not here, but it is. However, I did find it. If you go to directory, now you can do show only captures made by me. So if you're somebody that makes your own captures, you'll now see all of the captures that you made. I've got a bunch. My username is Stalach. If you want to go check out the stuff that I've posted for free, feel free to do so. But yeah, and now I can just scroll through here, pick one of these out, and then that shows you a blank grid with all the pluses on it so that you can add the amp or capture wherever you want. I mean, I'm not mistaken by saying that this is where you build your preset from, right? You use these. Doesn't everybody use those? So I don't get why the made by me isn't here, but on unit, I think it's done properly. I can hit plus, neural capture, hit the filter, and my made by me is right there. And you can toggle that on and off just right there. Really handy for me personally. I really like this update. Again, plugin compatibility is still going to be a major issue for a lot of people. For me personally, what is there to be not happy about, at least with what's in the unit, you know? Yeah, there's big promises that were made. Yeah, there's big promises that haven't been fulfilled yet. But as far as what you can do here, you can profile your amps, you can add a ton of effects. And now that it doesn't auto bypass your foot, it doesn't auto assign your foot switches. I mean, what's wrong with the unit at this point? It seems like things are really getting somewhere and everything's getting dialed in pretty good. And yeah, I can't wait to see what the future holds for this. Hopefully the next update we get plugin compatibility. And since we didn't add anything, there was no models, nothing added or fixed or anything, maybe that means that they are working faster and harder on the plugin compatibility. I still don't know what the deal is going to be, if we're going to be grandfathered into anything or we're going to have to buy the plugins now to use them. That would definitely be a bummer if us early adopters, I think I got mine from Sweetwater within the first couple of weeks, if we get nothing and have to just pay for plugins and we just wind up with an update that allows you to use the plugins. So I don't know. Looking forward to seeing what they do, though. I'm definitely curious. But yeah, let me know what you think of this update in the comments below. And if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.